Right, jumping on the bandwagon like everyone else. I got a CT Toy figures here. This is the CT Toy original Wolverine. And now if you don't know what CT Toys is, it's sort of a bargain toy company that sort of makes Mafex clone figures, I guess you could say. And they're very close to the original Mafex figures. So the reason these have become sort of popular is because, like, this figure, for example, cost me about $22 Canadian or something like that. The original Mafex figure of this is probably $200 by now. So that's what this company does essentially, and a lot of people are sort of jumping on the bandwagon and figuring out that, you know, these figures are pretty good for the price tag. So I wanted to try it because they have some coming out in the future that I want. Some new Spider-Man figures. They're doing a Gambit. The original Mafex Gambit is insanely expensive, and I'm never going to get it. So I'd definitely love to see a CT Toys version at some point. And at this point, I know they have this Wolverine, they have a Helverine, they have the white and blue, yellow and blue Wolverine, and then they also have a Spider-Man at this point. I think maybe a black costume Spider-Man too. I'm not exactly sure all the figures that CT Toys has out at this point, and they definitely look awesome. And I definitely wanted to see what the hype was about. So let's open this up and see what the hype is about. And I did get this from AliExpress, by the way. So first things first, it does come with a stand, obviously. In the stand, it seems pretty basic, pretty good. Like I said before, I don't have the Mafex original. I'm not an expert on these figures. This is my first one looking at. I don't know if the Mafex comes with the stand. I would assume so at the $150 whatever price point. So I'm sure this is maybe a mirror of the Mafex stand, but it seems pretty good to me. So you put that little piece on the end right there. There's a little, I don't know, hair. I don't think it's mine. All right, so you put that piece on, and then you put the individual sort of claw pieces on, and it's pretty strong. It doesn't feel like it's gonna pop off or anything. So this is a pretty quality stand, I would say. I don't have a lot of stands in my collection, so it's good to have one. And again, I'm gonna guess this is just like a normal Mafex stand, but obviously it's not branded or anything if there's a brand on there or whatnot. And the big thing to remember about this figure is you are getting a stand. You're getting multiple heads, multiple hands, all that sort of stuff. So you're getting way more than a Marvel Legends figure, and this is cheaper than a Marvel Legends figure. But what about the quality of the figure itself? Is this definitely, is this worth the price point? And I would say a beyond resounding, absolutely yes. It's not perfect. There's some color matching issues, which I've seen in other people's videos mention that too. So they're here too. The joints are pretty tight, but some of them are very easy to move. So I don't know if over time they might loosen up and be, you know, move by themselves or anything like that. There's a couple weird design elements, meaning the joints, the double elbows and the double knees. You could actually, I'll try to get it on camera. You can see that there's like some brass ring on, there's like some brass ring on the joints, and you can noticeably see it from the outside of the figure. I'm pretty sure the Mafex doesn't have that. But see, there's like a brass like ring or something in there. So that's kind of weird, but the joints feel good and they're nice and smooth. And that's what I do understand from Mafex figures, original, you know, real Mafex figures, is the joints are pretty smooth. And this follows the same sort of, you know, stipulation. This is like exactly like the Mafex as far as I know. All the articulation, double elbows, double knees, butterfly joints, ball joints at the ankles right there. This is all the same exact as the Mafex figures. I wouldn't even be surprised if they somehow like bought or pirated, I don't know, stole Mafex molds or something like that and used actual Mafex molds to make these figures, just with cheaper plastic, cheaper paint, something like that. But I don't know. So this is Wolverine's brown costume. And the reason I got this over the yellow and blue costume is actually the claws in this version are different, which I'll show in a second. But I am fond of this costume. This is Wolverine's costume, which originated in X-Men. 139 by artist John Byrne. And there's not many versions of this, even in Marvel Legends. And this is definitely, from what I've seen on of pictures, this is definitely, for sure, one of the best versions of this in action figure form around. That's why CT Toys chose this one, because it's a hard to get Mafex, and people want it. People like his brown costume. So I showed some highlights of the figure itself already, but we can go over quick articulation. There's a ball joint on the head. The neck is movable too. When it came straight out of the box, it was really moved back like that, and you can see a big sort of gap right there. But if you just sort of push that in and push that down a little bit, because Wolverine is, you know, short and stocky, right? So you should have, his head's probably gonna lean forward just like that a little bit. So that looks good to me. The mask looks very good. It's very, the wings of his mask are pretty darn cool. And I don't see much issue with the paint job. There is a little bit of bleeding on the flesh color there, but it's not too bad. Again, this is a $24 figure. What do you want? So butterfly joints right there, which get a decent range of movement. The arm moves really good, all the way around in a circle. Bicep swivel, doot, doot, doot. Double elbows, double knees, like we already talked about. The wrist articulation is a ball joint, so it's going in all different directions. Articulation at the waist, it's got a little bit of a dumbbell right here. There's not so super lot of movement, and there's articulation, and there's a swivel on the waist too. Goes down to the legs, double knees, obviously, and it's a little squeaky too. Yeah? So there's a ball joint on the feet right here, and also there's a swivel at the top of the boot too, which is kind of hidden because, you know, his flared up boot right there hides it, but it is there. It is there. And then again, ball joints at the feet. The ball joint does cut out this design a little bit, so, you know, it's visually not perfect, I guess you could say, but again, you get what you pay for, bub. Leg movement, he can kick about there, go out. The leg articulation, he can kick out about maybe a little over 90 degrees right there. So the articulation is honestly pretty good here. The joints are a little noisy, like I said, and they're maybe not perfect, you know, perfection. And I really can't compare it to the original Mafex again, because I don't have the original Mafex. So, but for the price I paid for this, pretty darn impressive. So it doesn't come with a lot of accessories, so we'll go over heads first and then hands. That's all he's got, heads and hands, that's it. So this is normal frowny face with the mask on, obviously. A very small ball peg there. There's another face, which is about the same. Obviously same mask, same eyes and everything. The only difference is his mouth. He's got a little sort of smirk. A little, I wouldn't say a smile, it's a smirk. It's a, you know, hey, you know, I just teared your intestines out through your nose. And he also comes with a third head, believe it or not, an unmasked head. This head looks pretty darn good, if you ask me. So he's got, you know, the enraged mouth open, and, you know, his teeth are painted. The inside of his mouth is painted. So the paint details on this head are actually pretty impressive. I definitely like this quite a lot. He's definitely staying masked on my shelf, but it's a very smooth paint job. There's not a super lot of details or anything, but it looks good. And he also does come with a mask that I think you can put around his neck with this head, sort of like that. So you know, he took his mask off and it's just resting on his shoulders, back head, or whatever. And it looks like, I don't know, it looks sort of like a Wolverine got ran over by a bulldozer or something. He got flattened like a pancake, like a Looney Tune cartoon. It also looks pretty cool. The yellow definitely does not match the yellow on his costume right here. Those are definitely two different yellows. The two hands he comes with, obviously, with the claws retracted, which look pretty good. It's got the, you know, the silver accents. I don't know what else you'd want from a pair of punching hands with no claws like this. Next pair of hands are claws retracted again, but they're sort of open, and they're like relaxed hands. They're not really, you know, holding hands. You can't really hold anything. They're just like, you know, open hands. Like, hey, welcome. This is what your heart looks like after I pull it out and stomp on it a few times. And this is the main reason I chose the brown costume Wolverine to start the CT Toys collection, is because these claws are actually curved, which matches some of his some of the old artwork, I guess you'd say. The claws are, you know, pretty firm. They're maybe a little loose. They're not completely symmetrical. but it's pretty darn close. It's way better than Marvel Legends Wolverine claws. But anyways, the yellow and blue Wolverine, the claws are completely straight. They're straight, no curve to them at all. And I actually like the look of the curve here. I don't know if it's super comic accurate or anything, but I don't know how these claws go inside his arm. They're so long and exaggerated, but you know, it does match a lot of the old comic books, and I think it looks great, especially with that curve to it. That curve gives it some, you know, it gives it like a kinetic look to it. You know what I mean? A little bit angrier look, I guess, than the straight one. And that's why that's why I chose this Wolverine to get. And so that is the CT Toys Wolverine, brown custom Wolverine. I might get the yellow and the Wolverine eventually. I do have Gambit on the way. They did make a Gambit / Mafex knockoff, so that is possibly on the way. But overall, it's a pretty cool figure. Again, the price point is almost as cheap as a McFarlane figure, and this is way better articulated and, you know, sculpted, stylized than a McFarlane figure for sure. Way better than a Marvel Legends, obviously. So I mean, CT Toys, keep doing what you're doing. I know they're bootlegs, not everyone's gonna like them, but I dig them. This figure is pretty darn cool. So thanks for tuning in and supporting Figurama by enemyzero. Please watch other videos and comment and do cool stuff like click subscribe. Peace out.